Diversity Week at Utah State, coming up on ATV News.
Logan makes national news after federal investigators take over a home. We'll tell you why.
A USU professor quit in protest of university policies. We'll tell you what those policies are.
See which November ballot issue had people marching around Temple Square.
We'll tell you if you'll be bumping into rain or snow this week in weather.
In sports, we'll tell you what title the Hurd won at the last USU football game and what member of the ATV News team won an MMA fight.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
Welcome to ATV News. I'm Shani Howard.
And I'm Arity Engel.
A Logan man is in Davis County Jail for threats of terrorism charges. I was at his home when federal investigators took it over. Seeing something like this on your street would be concerning. For residents living near 380 North, 200 West, this is the scene they came home to yesterday afternoon.
We're mostly surprised that something of this substance happens this close to home.
Moved to Logan thinking it's a pretty safe community, and when I think of dangerous things, I think of West Valley City or Ogden, not Logan.
Logan officers say federal agents had been preparing to arrest William Clyde Allen III and investigate his home long before they arrived in Logan.
They had already done their investigation, had the warrants written, and they knew the date they were going to come up and do it.
But the FBI weren't the only ones on the scene. Behind me are news outlets from around the nation. They were here before police even knew what exactly Allen had sent. At the end of the day, neighbors just wanted to know why.
What's the point of it? What's the point of him doing this?
According to Davis County Sheriff's Department, Allen has a criminal history of aggravated assault, driving under the influence, and child abuse.
An elderly woman is dead after a car accident near Conservice over the weekend. Police turned traffic away from the intersection of 700 South and 100 East after they say a two-vehicle collision ejected the woman from the back passenger seat. Logan City Police received the information around 11:45 in the morning.
They responded on scene and found that there had been a right-angle collision. One person had been ejected from the vehicle and was deceased.
Investigators say the truck hit the SUV's right rear and that the woman was not wearing a seatbelt. Police remind drivers to buckle up. Did you receive an alert on your cell phone? The Federal Emergency Management Agency conducted a nationwide test with participating wireless providers to make sure your phone is receiving wireless emergency alerts properly. Layton police are investigating a USU graduate they say sent nude photos to a minor and tried to have sex with her. Dan Gill has a doctorate degree in biology. Police say he used that degree to try and convince the father of a 13-year-old girl who he had met online to allow him to tutor her. Police say that Gill told the girl that he wanted to use the time he would be tutoring her to have sex. After giving his number to the girl, an officer contacted Gill pretending to be the father and set up a meeting. Police say when Gill showed up, he was arrested. Police booked Gill into Davis County Jail and are investigating him for enticing a minor and dealing harmful materials. November midterms are around the corner, but one issue on the ballot has people coming out to show their support. Christy Ocken tells us what led one group to protest at Temple Square.
What are we fighting for? For you!
People gathered at Temple Square to march and protest against the LDS Church's involvement in legalizing medical marijuana in the state of Utah.
The LDS Church has had when it's come to this bill is trying to change some of the phrasing in it in order to make it even harder for this bill to be passed.
They aren't just marching for themselves, but for loved ones fighting life-threatening diseases.
So I hold my sign for my Nina. And that's what it means to me, is giving her a natural alternative for her pain that she deals with every day.
Cancel
Some people believe Utah's opioid epidemic and profit from high prescription drug rates will cause the bill to fail.
There's no money in healing. There's only money in keeping people sick.
While protesters marched on Temple Square, many believe the problem is right here on Capitol Hill.
It is the most conservative bill that has been in the United States when it comes to legalizing marijuana, and there is no valid reason as to opposition to the bill.
Make sure you're registered.
Protesters say the take-home message is to get out and vote. Christy Akin, ATV News.
You can vote on Utah Proposition 2 for the November 6th ballot.
Speaking of the ballot, the Alliance for a Better Utah hosted a discussion panel on campus to talk about how Proposition 2 will affect our state. The panel discussed the importance of educating the public and about the uses and accessibility of medical marijuana, as well as how Utah's Proposition 2 is different in comparison to other states' medical marijuana movements.
You're very different here. You really care, it seems like, about the patients. You care about not having smoking in there, which I don't think any other initiative ballot had.
An open mic after the panel discussion let audience members ask questions and further the conversation about medical marijuana. The Alliance for a Better Utah will be hosting panels at other locations around Utah over the next month.
People around the world are following the Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Court hearing. Student support at USU has been small, but for those involved, it is still an important issue.
I really just hope that survivors feel supported and know that, we believe them.
Students gathered Friday, joining those across the nation to show support for Dr. Christine Ford.
There's a bunch of coordinated national protests going on at noon local time all across the country, and I looked and there wasn't one for Logan, so I was like, well, even if it's small, we'll do one.
Only 3 people showed up to the rally, but despite the small numbers, officials at Savvy say they still want students to know there is support and sympathy available to survivors of sexual assault.
It can be incredibly saddening and hard to process. And so I would tell students at Utah State that they're not alone.
If Kavanaugh is found innocent, his new position as Supreme Court Justice could still have an effect on women and sexual assault survivors.
Senate members say Kavanaugh will not take a seat on the Supreme Court until after the FBI has conducted their investigation.
For students who have survived sexual assault, links to campus resources are available on our Facebook page.
A USU piano professor quit his job in protest of how the university officials are handling sexual assault allegations against professors in the music program. In Jason Harding's resignation letter, he says, "I cannot support an institution that is unwilling to publicly demonstrate a zero-tolerance policy towards sexual assault." University Public Relations Director Tim Vitale says USU officials have already taken steps to further enforce the zero-tolerance policy that is already in place at USU and keep students safe.
We, as an institution, have dramatically changed our processes across the spectrum of university support systems and policies and procedures. We would take whatever actions are necessary to keep students safe.
University officials hired an independent investigator to examine sexual assault allegations against Professor Dennis Hurst. They say until there is proof of the claims, he will remain a professor at USU. Students who have been sexually assaulted can find links to resources available on our Facebook page.
If you get stuck in a car wreck, firefighters now have better tools to help you survive. Zachary Aedo shows you how first responders tested the new gear in front of an audience.
Firefighters show off their new version of the Jaws of Life.
It was awesome. It was great. Good training for us all.
The Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation donated the equipment. A company rep says they've given more than $37 million to help first responders across the nation. People gathered outside to see the new gear in action.
What's nice about these new Jaws of Life is that they're versatile, mobile, because they use this lithium-ion battery, and very powerful. Powerful enough to save your life.
Notice how there are no cables attached, unlike previous models. So now, they can work on wrecks far from their trucks.
It's always good to upgrade and to advance, and so if anything were to happen to me or my kids, it's nice to know that they have equipment that is better than what they were using to help my family out.
Zachary Aido, ATV News.
Hopefully you'll never be in a wreck, but it's nice to know that equipment is there when you need it.
40,000 U.S. veterans are homeless. The Cache Valley Veterans Association wants to help those in need.
Hello? Is anyone here?
This is the sound of a veteran searching through Logan Canyon for homeless people. The association searched the whole canyon and only found this site and left supplies for whoever needs it. The supplies included water, MREs, and hygiene kits. Veterans from all over Utah came to help.
They don't always get the information that they need that can help them later on in life. And so if I can just come up here and make a 45-minute drive, that's something that I can give back, and I have no problems doing that whatsoever.
The association's next event is a Walk to Remember 5K on November 3rd to remember those veterans who have taken their own lives.
Fall is in the air, but your leaves are about to hit the ground. Leaves have started to change colors and fall off trees, building up along fence lines and gutters. Using a live truck like this, city workers will clean up leaves left on the side of the road. Their goal is to keep gutters clear.
The objective for the leaf cleanup is that we keep all the leaves out of the gutter, so when it rains and when it snows, the grades don't get plugged up.
Romney also said to keep your garbage out of the leaves and put it where it belongs. Logan City has started leaf cleanup, but will continue until it snows.
Coming up, how Republicans and Democrats are crossing the aisle. Coming up, Cassandra Solarte will have the weather after the break. The current temperature is 55 degrees.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us, Aggies. Religion scholars from across the U.S. are gathering at USU for something new, a conference about air quality. Many Cache Valley residents are going on early fall drives and hikes in the canyon before temperatures drop and the smog starts to show up. Scholars say change for these conditions is possible with help of one thing: religion.
Religion motivates people at their deepest levels. We really do things that we want to do, and we strive for our best goals because of religion.
Gupta hopes this will become an annual event.
This is picks and shovels digging into the earth, is a beautiful testament to the labor of love and the passion that this valley has to see more and more improved recreational trails.
The leaves aren't the only thing changing on Beaver Mountain. Over the weekend, they opened up their first recreational trail. Bikers gear up for a 5-mile ride that takes them on a loop to the top of Little Beav and down. These are some of the volunteers that spent 3 summers creating this trail.
It doesn't matter, we're all on the same team today. Team CAPSA, Team Children's Justice. It doesn't matter, we're all on the same team.
This is picks and shovels digging into the earth, is a beautiful testament to the labor of love and the passion that this valley has to see more and more improved recreational trails.
Crite said he hopes this new trail will bring more summer visitors. If you want to explore the new trail, you can go to Bike the Beav on October 13th. Cache Valley Democrats and Republicans are getting ready for elections, but they took a break for some bipartisan fun and fundraising at the softball field. Politicians and voters geared up, warmed up, lined up, and counted off into 2 teams. Players came together before the elections for a softball game to work for a common goal, collecting donations for CAPSA and the Children's Justice Center. The left boasts a 2-year win record over the right because there were not enough Republicans to make up the team this year. But they didn't let that stop the game and put together 2 bipartisan teams.
Well, the weather looked nice for the baseball game last week. How's it going to look for sports this week?
We're going to see a lot more rain, and in some places, a little too much rain. Flash flood warnings were sent out from Salt Lake County all the way down to Washington County this week. Temps are not breaking into the 60s all week, so temperature is definitely cooling down. Today, the scattered showers continue, but tomorrow you'll see a little bit of sun until 1 a.m. when the storms continue again. Next week, the sun will be out on Monday and Tuesday, but scattered showers continue on through the week. So if your Columbus Day plans are outside, be sure to bring an umbrella.
Well, Cassandra, it looks like we're finally starting to see some of that winter weather here in Logan.
Yeah, we sure are. At least it's not snow. I'm not ready for that.
Me neither.
I wonder how that'll affect the football game next week. Bobby, what's going on in sports?
Yeah, I'll show you who won a rivalry in Cache Valley last week.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading my favorite USU versus BYU tweets. I'm at BJR24601, or you can call me Bobby Russell. This week, the USU Hurd stood out on a new ESPN with a new title. The Hurd won the Live Moss student section of the week. After their most recent game, students prepared for the game with activities on the quad, then gathered at Maverick Stadium, where baby powder was thrown in the air in spirit of the whiteout. ESPN said on their website that the Hurd's passion, tradition, energy, endurance, and creativity helped the team achieve the title. USU football fans took to Twitter to share their smack talk before USU faces BYU on Friday. Jaden Johnson acknowledges that the bye week and said the best part about having the bye week is now Aggie Nation gets a full week to prepare their smack talk and slander for the week. Maddie Hilton said it's a lovely week to hate BYU. Nate Lundberg replied to a fan and said that they need a whole new team. And Logan Jones mentioned that the best part BYU tradition has to be is fans acting like the game means nothing, despite both players and coaches on both sides expressing how much the game means. Utah State soccer played against Wyoming at home on Friday. Midfielder Cammie Warner passed the ball to her teammate, but that possession was taken by Wyoming. Kelsey Anderson attempts a pass, and it was stolen again by the Cowgirls. They also took this goal that gave them the win over the Aggies 1-0. Utah State Aggies play at San Diego State on Friday. In a battle of two undefeated teams in Cache Valley, Skyview is taking on Logan High. We have the first half highlights. Second quarter, Skyview quarterback Mason Falslev rolling out. He decides to take off, makes one guy miss, and dive for the goal line. Touchdown Skyview. Still in the second quarter, Falslev again with the quarterback run. Jew takes a defender, running for the corner, makes one more move, and he has 36-yard touchdown. Logan High driving, Johnny Parkinson passes to Tim Van Leeuwen, who toes up the sideline and gets in for 6. Logan goes on to lose 40-22. Our own Caitlin Rinless-Baker fought local Natalie Martin in both their debut MMA fights on Saturday. The two fighters exchanged blows in the center of the octagon, neither one backing down. Rinless Baker, a straight left to the face, knocking Martin back into the fence. The fight is called after the second round. Rinless Baker takes the win with a technical knockout. Rinless Baker walked out with a black eye. Martin was hospitalized after the fight, but she says she's doing fine now. Thanks for joining us with ATV Sports.
Ed Collins shows us the final of its construction.
A little bit of white paint, and these Utah towns are ready to jump off the map.
Basically, you just have to roll over the top with them lightly with a paint marker or a paintbrush, and then they stand out.
These labels are part of one giant map of the Beehive State, a project taken on by Creo Tree Map Building. Their work caught the eye of a former Utah Jazz CEO.
Greg Miller saw this 5-foot Utah. He gets in touch with us and says, "Hey, can you do bigger?"
The map was so big that we couldn't prop it up in Patrick's garage. To give you an idea, I'm about 5'9", meaning the map would be right around here. For Patrick, the massive size allows for more focus on the little things.
It's so easy to identify everything because of the detail.
Detail that is based completely on science.
It comes from USGS data, so every ridge that's there, it's not artistically put in there, it actually exists.
And while this gnat climbs Utah's ridges, and this one struggles in the depths of the Great Salt Lake, the miniature realism inspires Patrick to see more for himself.
It makes me want to go visit a lot more of Utah, especially the canyons and the water. I'll never get to them all, but.
Ed Collins, ATV News.
You can see the map for yourself at the Land Cruiser Museum in Salt Lake.
Logan Nightlife got a kickstart last weekend. ATV's Cassandra Solarte shows us how the arts took over the Center Street block.
You might not see a music scene like this every day in Cache Valley. Energy was high behind the Waffle Iron, where bands performed free to the public, all for the Block Festival.
Give something for people to do around town, because there's really not a lot that goes on.
Local vendors served up ethnic food and even beer. There was a skate park, haircuts, and dancing witches. Center Street is filled with art ranging from paintings to sculptures and even interactive art exhibits, all from people right here in Cache Valley.
It pulls together what I consider to be alternatives or things that we often don't see on a daily basis in Logan.
Celebrating cultural art is important for local artists like Coven, who built this projection dome.
Just getting people out and out at night, especially in Logan, is really important.
You get out in your community, you get to see what's going on. It brings more of a community feel.
Cassandra Solarte, ATV News.
Looks like there was a lot going on this weekend, and what a nice way to spend one of the last few good weather weekends.
An exhibit in Park City, Utah is highlighting arachnids in a way they never have. 100 different types of tarantulas, scorpions, and more from all over the world are here at the Swanner Preserve and Eco Center for the Art and Science of Arachnids exhibit. The creatures we're highlighting the work of arachnids in movies like The Lord of the Rings and Indiana Jones, and books like The Hobbit. At the exhibit, you can also learn how venom from scorpions and tarantulas is used to heal people. This is the exhibit's first year, and there seems to be a common reaction among people.
People are mostly pleasantly surprised and less scared than they think they will be.
The exhibit is open until December. If you'd like to know more about the event, you can find the Eco Center's website link on our Facebook page.
Dancers in northern Utah came to show their support for people in their community. Haley, you were there. Tell us about the event.
So these dancers behind me are dancing to bring attention to one of the largest causes of death in the state, suicide.
One, don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling because he's drunk and alone. Two.
Everyone needs a reason to dance. Here, it's suicide. This is not a walkathon, a hotline, or a billboard campaign.
There's other communities out there that care about this.
Dance is such a big and awesome and fun and uplifting thing, so I think doing that to bring awareness to this important cause is awesome.
While most dancers are raising awareness, for Whitney, it's personal, and that's a painful thing.
We grew up in a single-parent home, and though we came from different fathers, we cared for each other a lot.
When my own brother passed away to suicide, at least that's what the cops claim, it was just really hard on me, my family. It's hard not having him here anymore because when we were growing up, we were pretty close.
Collins looks alone, putting her vulnerability on stage, but she's not.
I attempted suicide and I was just very depressed, but I put on a fake smile. About 12 months ago, I started dancing, and it just was a thing that took my mind off everything, and it was just a way that I could express myself.
And a way to cope with her struggles.
There's always a reason for living. Sometimes it feels like there's not one, but you just have to wait until the end of the tunnel, because there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Haley Hendricks, ATV News. If you or someone you know is in need of help, please do not hesitate to call the 24-hour suicide prevention hotline.
It's Diversity Week here on campus, and USUSA is helping you celebrate. Students got together for a night of Coco and Coco, the movie and the chocolatey drink. Utah State Student Association says this night was a way for students to come together and celebrate differences while simply enjoying refreshments and each other's company. For a whole list of the ongoing Diversity Week activities, go to our Facebook page. If you love Taco Tuesday, the annual Taco Tuesday Extravaganza is for you. If you missed it, you can always catch it in next year in downtown Logan. Vendors from all over town came to show off their street tacos for the first annual Taco Extravaganza, featuring tortilla making demonstrations and endless amounts of street tacos.
I love the food here. It's been so delicious. I've been eating the chicken tacos like all night. I can't stop.
Local artists played live music to add to the atmosphere, while the people tried different varieties of tacos and Latin American snacks, such as churros and elotes. The Taco Extravaganza was put on by USU Latin Creative Society at the Block Film Festival.
Do you remember the Career Aggie website? In the last year, USU Career Services chose to go another route with this online resource. According to Career Services, the Aggie Handshake website is a lot more updated and functional than Career Aggie was. They say now it's easier to search for jobs, events, and schedule appointments. And if you need career advice, they are more than happy to help.
Let's set out a plan and let's help you get prepared for your future.
If you'd like to check out the Aggie Handshake website, the link is posted on our Facebook page. Thank you for joining us for this edition of ATV News. You can find these stories on our Facebook page.
Enjoy these shots from yesterday's festivities on campus. Have a great week, Aggies.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment, and that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.